There's a quiet dread that visits you late at night. It's not a big dramatic failure, it's the silent creeping feeling that you have spent years, maybe a decade, getting very, very good at the wrong thing. It's that moment you look up from the screen, from the project plan, from the promotion you just got, and you feel a cold certainty that the ladder you've been climbing with all your strength has been leaning against the wrong wall the entire time. You did it, you got the title, the salary, the approval. So why do you feel so hollow? This is the broken promise of modern ambition. You've been told a story your whole life. Happiness is on the other side of the next thing, the next raise, the next house, the next milestone. So you run. You trade sleep for progress. You put joy on hold. You tell yourself you'll relax when. You treat your life like a race to a finish line that mysteriously keeps moving further away. Every time you get there, the view is the same. The satisfaction lasts about 5 minutes, a sugar high that leaves you feeling emptier than before. You're on a treadmill, believing that if you just run a little faster, you'll finally arrive somewhere. You won't. This isn't your own private struggle. It's an ancient problem. The Stoics saw this as a kind of prison you build for yourself. You aren't a slave to a boss, you're a slave to your own endless appetite for more. You think you're the one making the choices, but really, every move you make is dictated by a hunger you can never, ever satisfy. The way out is so simple it sounds almost insulting. It's not about achieving more. It's not about winning a game that's designed to keep you running forever. It's about being brave enough to define what is enough. As Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Think about that for a second. Poverty isn't what's in your bank account. It's a feeling. It's the constant gnawing ache for what you don't have. The person making 500,000 a year who lies awake at night terrified because their colleague just bought a bigger house is, by this Stoic standard, deeply poor. But the person who earns a fraction of that, but has exactly what they need for a good, meaningful life, they are the truly rich ones. This one idea can change everything for you. Confronting. Let's make this real. Picture two people starting a business. The first person is obsessed with the big prize, building a unicorn, $1 billion empire. That's her only definition of success. She lives on stale coffee and 4 hours of sleep. Her phone buzzes with work emails during her kids' school play. Her partner feels more like a roommate. Her mind is a chaotic spreadsheet of growth targets and investor demands. She's living for a future that has a 99% chance of never happening, and she is sacrificing the only present she'll ever have to get there. If she makes it, she'll be famous, she'll be wealthy, but she might be a stranger to herself and everyone she loves. If she fails, she's left with nothing but burnout and regret. Now, picture the second person. Before she even starts, she asks herself a different question. What does enough look like? Her goal isn't $1 billion. Her goal is to build a company that pays her a great salary, say 200,000 a year, while working a sane 40-hour week. That's her finish line. It's clear, it's reachable. It buys her not just financial security, but time, freedom. Once she hits that number, she doesn't automatically raise the stakes. She doesn't hire 500 people and they start chasing exponential growth. She holds the line. She defends her enough. She uses her freedom to take a walk in the middle of the afternoon, to have lunch with her parents, to read a book with no goal other than curiosity. She won the game because she decided where the finish line was instead of letting the world decide for her. Which one is actually successful? Which one is free? Our culture screams that it's the first one. The Stoics would tell you without hesitation that it's the second. The first person is a slave to a number. The second is the master of her life. So what does this mean for you tomorrow morning? This isn't about quitting your job or abandoning your ambition. It's about aiming it at the right target. The mission is to make this idea real, uncomfortably real. You have to define your enough. Take out a piece of paper, a real one, and a pen. Writing it down matters. Answer these questions. 1. What is the exact annual income you need for a life where you don't worry about money? Not a fantasy life of private jets, a genuinely good life. Where the bills are paid, you can save and you can afford the small things that bring you real joy. Be brutally honest. The number is probably much lower than your ego wants to admit. This is your enough number. 2. Describe a perfect, normal Tuesday. Not a vacation day, a work day. What time do you wake up? What does the first hour feel like? How many hours are you working? What does that work feel like in your body? Who do you eat lunch with? How much time is there for silence, for a walk, for just thinking? This is your enough time. 3. What are your non-negotiable terms for a peaceful mind? Maybe it's turning your phone off completely after 6 p.m. Maybe it's never missing bedtime with your kid. Maybe it's having one weekend a month with zero plans. Write down 3. These are your boundaries. This is your enough for your soul. Now you have it, a real definition of winning, not the ghost of more. You have a finish line. Your ambition is no longer a wildfire. It's a laser pointed at a life you actually want to live. The next time an opportunity comes along, a promotion, a new project, a can't miss investment, you don't just ask, could this get me more? You ask, does this get me closer to my enough Tuesday? This is the hardest work there is. It's harder than any exam, tougher than any pitch, because it means you have to stop listening to the world and start listening to yourself. The freedom you're chasing isn't out there somewhere in the future. It's in the quiet, powerful decision to say, this is enough. And in that moment, you'll realize you have everything. The only way to win the game is to decide when you're done playing.